Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Tuesday, the 3rd of September, comes to you from London. And the dollar pushing higher still this morning, so we're just seeing this steady march up the hill. So it's all about dollar strength at the moment. We're seeing dollar making 2-year highs against the basket of currencies. This is the dollar index, of course. So dollar strength very much the theme. That means the euro dollar is weak, and we're below the 110 level. We've got downside targets to 107, 108. And 104 on the bigger chart, and then below parity. So we are just seeing that transition occurring, and the euro making 2-year lows as well. Looking at the yen, we see the dollar is actually holding short-term bullish, not yet bullish on the medium-term chart though. So still the yen is the strongest currency of the majors. Looking at sterling, we're below the 120 level this morning against the dollar, so making new fresh lows, not really seen since the beginning of 2017. So that is quite a big move for sterling, and that 120 level is psychologically important. Next targets, really there aren't any that are close by. 105 is this target on the medium term chart, and we've got targets to parity, quite a few of them. So we're not going to go there straight away, but keep an eye on the 1-minute charts if you are trading currency. Looking at the euro chart, we see here sterling also weakening there at 109, so falling away there on political turmoil. Threat of a general election in the UK now starting to rattle the market a little bit. Against the Swiss franc, we're sitting at 118.64, so looking lower there as well. Bitcoin is back above the $10,000 mark. So that's back to short-term bullish, but the medium-term chart still has work to do to get back there. US markets were closed yesterday for Labor Day, but looking at the futures this morning, we look set to be lower on the S&P future, and the Nasdaq future also lower. Taking a look at the UK market, we are slightly up this morning, but looking a bit weak, and the midcaps in the 250 also just struggling, but holding on to short-term bullish. The DAX is down this morning by nearly 0.5%, and the CAC Quant also lower. So we are just seeing that European markets fairly rattled. Japan was up by 0.3%, the weaker yen against the dollar helping there, and Hang Seng was down by 0.3%. The Chinese market was up by 2.2%. India was pretty badly hit last night, down 1.2%, and so we are just seeing an unwinding of quite a bullish chart here. The long-term chart is still bullish, but the medium and short-term chart's bearish, and the Aussie market was just slightly lower. Brent crude fell back below the $60 mark yesterday, so it's back to bearish territory there, and WTI fell as well, down a further 0.5% this morning. US nat gas breaking the $2.31 level, but no real excitement on the long-term chart there. Gold sitting at 1527, so it's holding its strength on the short term. It's still a little bit bearish, but medium and long term looks amazing. And silver never actually went bearish on the short term chart, so looking pretty strong there. US 10-year yield sitting at 1.47%, so still bearish there. And German bond prices, we're seeing the Bund actually recovering a little bit as well. So yields, low yields, still very much the theme. Taking a look at individual stocks now. Of course, the US was closed, so we'll take a quick look at the Aussie market. Speedcast was the best performer, up 20%, although that's no real consolation on this chart. Infigen Energy looking very strong, having gone from around 40 cents to 60 pence in the last month, and starting to look like a recovery there. Western Areas Limited also looking stronger, breaking through. On the downside, we've got TPG Telecom now down 4.7%, not a great looking chart, and Grain Corp, they're also looking lower there, so a bit of a worry just generally. We're finding a lot of charts breaking down. India, we only have a handful of stocks. Tech Mahindra is still looking pretty good on the long term. The medium term still has work to do. HCL actually starting to look better on that medium term chart, and the long term trends very much intact. Tata Consultancy looking like we might be getting a break of resistance here, like an ascending triangle, so that should break and run. And Hero Motor Corp not looking great on the chart, although we might just manage to get through. On the downside, we've got a lot of stocks falling away in India. We had Housing Development Corp there, just starting to look a bit worrying on the medium term. Ultratech, they're also looking worrying, the cement company. And ICI Bank, that trend is actually starting to look a little bit worrying on the medium-term chart as well. So we are just seeing quite a few of these Indian stocks breaking down. Looking to the UK now, we start with the 100 stocks. The top performer this morning is Ferguson Group. They're up 2.7%. That chart actually looking pretty good, breaking to new highs. And if we look at Micro Focus, that of course isn't good after last week's 30% fall. It's small beer to see a 2% rise today. And Hiltmer looking also pretty good. And National Grid looking like it might be making a transition to bullish. On the downside, we've got EasyJet. They're down 2.5%. Not looking great there, and Auto Trader actually just starting to flatten out here, but having moved through the cloud, that's also a worry. So really hard to find good steady trends at the moment. On the 250, the best performer this morning is Rathbone. They're up 2.5%. So that's looking a little bit better. The chart's not great though. Nvidia really struggling after big falls, and Dagen Holdings also, the chart not looking great here as well. TBC Bank Group also looking lower. So we're seeing the best performers mostly, for the most part, the charts don't look great. Restaurant Group down 8% this morning. The long-term chart is still bearish here. The medium-term chart has had a flurry, and Amigo Holdings also pushing much lower, and Woodford Payton Capital Trust further down. Ted Baker Group down 2.6%. A lot of these stocks just not recovering. Just Group also down 2.5%. So we're seeing some situation where the chart's just fallen away. Taking a look now at Europe, the best performers, there's only 5 stocks up this morning. Sanofi and Paris, they're up, and that chart actually looking pretty good, breaking to new highs. Iberdrola looking very strong, and that's a rarity in the European stocks. And Eni not looking great, and Unilever looking strong here, breaking to new highs, so that's looking pretty good. On the downside, we have Kering Group down 1.5%. Deutsche Post down 1.5%. We are just seeing, and here we see the low prices coming in from Yahoo Finance. So it's pretty tough day of the markets, and set for a lower opening on the US. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.